Welcome back to Victus channel. We're going to continue our campaign in which we are leading the nation of France into a complete invasion of a sovereign country. This country is Mexico. As of right now, we have a fleet commanded by Admiral Edouard that is right now scouting the area. In the other hand, in the actual Balkans, the Turks have decided to become a little bit aggressive and they have their own agenda. Perhaps it's a little bit similar to the agenda of Emperor Napoleon III, and they have decided that they will take the Peloponnese from the Greeks. The French have decided that they have given the Greeks the liberty to have a country, and in a move a little bit hypocrite, they are now recruiting in Marseille some troops to be sent in support of the Greek state. So this is the situation up to this point, and we're going to follow along. So don't forget to subscribe if you like the content. It is going to help a lot to the channel. So over here we see General Francois is waiting for the finishing of the recruitment of 3 Fusiliers and 1 Cuirassier. This is going to be a force that is going to be enough to scare a little bit the Turks. So now we're going to go and end the turn. Okay, so now we're going to see what we have to do. We're going to go to lists here because it's going to be easier for us. So now we're going to be able to go into the settlements. The first thing that we are going to do is to continue and setting the route for the French fleet to reach Mexico. So this is going to be the route. So they're going to move through here. And that is going to be the situation over here. So Admiral Edouard is going to give us a little bit of a inform about the actual situation here. So as far as he knows, Veracruz over here is a very flourishing city in the coast of Mexico. And over here we see that there is Prime Minister Eduardo, which is the faction heir, and we have 2 troops over here, Federal Infantry and State National Guard. However, we don't have any information about these troops. This is fair enough for him, so we can believe that his report is the best as he can do. So the thing is that he's going to send this wooden steam frigate. He's going to send this wooden steam frigate over. We're going to divide these guys in 2, but first we're going to send the wooden steam frigate through the coast in here. So we're going to send this ship over here. We can see here General Jose Miguel Ramon. This guy has as well State National Guard and a muzzle loading rifle cannon. This is the only thing that we already know, because as far as we can understand, this is something that we have as well in our armies, so we can understand what is the composition of that. So we're going to continue to the north. We don't want to go near the coast, and we would want to scout a little bit here, but mainly we would like to see what is happening over here with the Confederate States. So I'm going to send this guy here. I'm going to be careful not to get that into the path of someone else. So over here we see in Florida, we see Savannah, and we can see a little bit of a port and a little bit of a settlement here. And over here we see General William of the Confederate Army, which is basically muzzle-loading rifle cannons as well. Perhaps this is a regiment that his task is to guard the coast over here in Louisiana. Now, something to note, we can see that this settlement over here has the symbol of Egypt. So perhaps these are some of the issues. Oh, actually no. If we get near, we can see that now the flags are changed to the Confederate States. So with that, we're going to divide this fleet in two. So that's going to be the first thing. We still have a wooden sail frigate here. The thing is that I would like to have, we have sail ship of the line and we have steamship of the line. So let's see. Let's take 2 steamships of the line, including the ironclad. This is the ironclad ram. Actually, all of them, not all of them, but they have different pictures over here. What I'm going to do is to take the steamship over here and the ironclad ram, and this is going to be the guys that are going to be sent north here. Okay, with this we can have a look at everything that is going to happen here. So we still see this. Let's see if we can find something else. Nothing else. And we have these guys very near to Veracruz here. So we're going to back down a little bit so we cannot alarm. We don't want to alarm the Mexicans about the situation here. Perhaps at this point these guys are going to send the information to the city, to Mexico City, and they're going to start to understand what is happening. Okay, now we can go back to mainland Europe and we can see over here that our troops are ready. But there is one thing that is not, and that is the metro use. So we're going to retrain here the cuirassiers and the general staff, and finally perhaps we're going to be good with another spy. We can see that we have a spy here, so I'm going to send this spy into this fleet, so he's going to be ready to embark on the ships. And with this we can say that we are ready to go and see what is the situation over here. Now we see here we have one guy here in Constantinople. Let's zoom in a little bit and we can see first the Theodosian walls, and we see Hagia Sophia. Beautiful. I was sure that with this city we would have a lot of interesting visuals over here. As I was mentioning before, this is one of the beauties of this mod, because we have a lot of detail on the cities, because we see actual landmarks of the cities represented graphically on the map. So we see here a lot of armies here that perhaps are ready to attack. So let me move this guy here. It's going to be a little bit difficult to move through here, you can see, because everything is so small in a certain way, so it's difficult to move, so the pathfinding is going to get a little bit weird here. Let's send him here, and we can see here that in Thessaloniki we see a guy that is called the Crown Prince Abdul, and that is the faction heir. So the faction heir of the Turks is already in Thessaloniki. we can see that he's very loyal and he's a very able general. Now, at this point, we can say that we cannot bribe this guy because of his loyalty. So the other thing is that we are going to need to find a little bit of information about these generals if we want to bribe some of them. Look at this, Sultan Murad. This is the faction heir. Eventually, he is located in Constantinople. So let me go and try to... What is this? This is the Greek diplomat. Let me go and select our diplomat. This one here. And we're going to try to see what is happening down here. So I'm going to send him here. And he's blocked by these guys. So let's see. Okay. It's going to be difficult for him to move. He cannot move. Okay. So I'm going to send him back. Perhaps we can move him here. But no, again. So as you can see, it's going to be impossible for us to move our Eugene from this area. And there is already a Greek diplomat opening discussions here in Constantinople. So by the time being, we're going to wait with this guy here, and we're going to send our good French ally to Athens. So over here we see that we have Hellenic Carabineers. Let's have a look at the Hellenic Carabineers. Even though we don't have a picture here, we're going to check the stats here. So the melee attack of the Carabineers is 8 and the missile attack is 37. I have seen that most of the factions that are rifles, they have 37. So as you can see, this one here, the Hellenic infantry as well has 37. So some of them are going to have different stats in terms of defense and charge bonuses, but that's eventually something that is normal. So here we see that this guy, King Otto, which is actually a very able king, this guy has, the faction heir is Crown Prince Georgios, and King Otto is the actual faction leader. He is in command of these troops. The only thing that we can see is 4 of these Hellenic infantry. I will assume that this is the standard infantry of the time in terms of Hellenic troops. And yeah, and here we see the Carabineers. Nothing else of remark that we can say about the situation here. So with this, we're going to end the turn and see what happens. Okay, here we are again. We are in the winter of 1862, and right now we're going to check if there's something else that we can check over here. There's nothing else. So now perhaps we are able to move our diplomat here. So we're going to move him very quickly here. So that way we can go and continue our voyage through the Atlantic. So, okay, here we see nothing of note. Here still we see Crown Prince Abdul. And over here we can see Hassan. We know that he is very loyal as well, so we are not going to try to bribe him. So that is for that. So we're going to send him here. And we're going to position him a little bit in here. If there's something else that we have spotted, nothing else. Okay, so now let's go to Marseille. And now I think we are ready to embark our troops, including Felix here, into the ships that are waiting for us in the ports here. So we're going to take Francois, we're going to take the general staff. We're going to leave 2 National Guards +1 muzzle-loading rifle cannon, and we're going to take with us 2 of them, the cuirassiers and the fusiliers that we have trained. So this is the expedition force that is going to be in charge of liberating, or at least supporting, the independence of the Greeks. So let's send them into the ship. So they are going to embark. And now, before departing, we're going to have a little bit of look at the general here. The general here is sharp, charismatic, and vigorous. So it says here, as you can see, there are a few men who excel in all they do. This man may be one of those few. Intelligence, how well the character processes and retains information. So this man's high intelligence means it will be easier for him to advance in intelligence-based skills such as management, mathematics, and tactics. Very, very interesting what we're seeing here. A lot of interesting mechanics that are employed in the actual traits. Charisma, how well the character gets along with people or gets them to do what he says. So this man's high charisma, which is charismatic, means it will be easier for him to advance in charisma-based skills, so on and so forth. And vitality, which means vigorous, is how much ambition, energy, and health this character possesses. Now, this guy as well, we can see that he has a lot of staff, and it's very powerful. He has a quartermaster, a trusty steed, and I see that in this mod there's a lot of emphasis on staff, on retinue, and traits. So I am intrigued as of right now about this situation, because this thing, I haven't seen this before. So sharp, charismatic, vigorous, interesting. Now let's go ahead and very quickly let's figure out what is the stat of, for example, let's check Louis Jules, this Louis Jules. Sharp, charismatic, vigorous. It's the same guy, I think. No, it's different. Still, and the traits of this guy is sharp, charismatic, and languorous. Okay, so now this guy has a different situation here. The Emperor is in vitality, he is languorous. So this is again how much ambition, energy, and health the character possesses. This man's low vitality means it will be difficult for him to advance in vitality-based skills. Okay, so basically we see a difference in here. He's not vigorous, he's languorous. Again, this one has as well sharp, charismatic, and vigorous, and the same holds true for this one. So far, so good. So let's go ahead and let's figure out what we're going to do right now. Let's see. We have the Admiral Philippe. I think this is Admiral Pierre Antoine. This is one of the guys that are this is the guy that is waiting for us to be sent into the Adriatic. So we're going to send him through here. So he's going to move through Corsica into the Tyrrhenian Sea, and then south, and we're going to pass through the Straits of Messina. We're going to move down here to the Peloponnese, and actually I think we're going to land here. So this is going to be the landing point. We're going to land near this area of, I think this is possibly Epirus, so that's going to be the area of landing. So now let's go to America, and over here we continue the situation. We're going to take this small wooden steam frigate that is now getting us a little bit of information about the situation here. So now in South Florida we can see eventually Havana is in possession of the Spaniards. This is going to be the last colonial possession of the Spaniards in America that is going to be held by them at this point. We see here the Union Navy. So eventually the civil war has begun, and we are seeing here a Union Navy. So we're going to move here through the Turks Islands, and we're going to move north. Continuing here, see the blockade of one of the Union ports. Over here we see a British Navy that is as well scouting over the situation. So we're going to continue here, and we see here a settlement here that is full of Unionists and Richmond. And over here we see a Union Trade Company, which is the actual merchants of this mod. Again, Washington is now being held by the Union. So I think at this point everything is good for the Union. Richmond is part of the Union. So we're going to stay here and see what else happens and how the Civil War is going to develop. It's very important for us to note what is going to happen with Richmond and Washington. At this point, if I double click here, we can see that the actual guy that is in command of this fort is Carnot Rucker. Okay, now, where is the Emperor? Ah, there he is. So we're going to continue here with the Emperor. So we're going to continue the voyage over here. So he is now getting closer to its destination. And now we can see a fleet of the Spanish near our fleet. So let's end the turn. Okay, so now we are going to continue with Admiral Philippe, and we're going to get near in this area of Florida. Here we are. So now over here we see that actually the Union has now invaded the island of Cuba. Very interesting. We have a Spanish commander here that is very strong. So let's check if there is a situation in between Spain. Kingdom of Spain is at war with the Union. Interesting. We're going to move. Let's remember that we have a wooden sail frigate here, so we're going to send this guy here. So we're going to have a better look of the situation. Even though we cannot see more than it's possible here. So we see General Miguel Francisco over here, neutral army, and here we see again Prime Minister Eduardo, which is the faction heir, nothing of note. And here we see one of these federal infantry, which is the normal line infantry. Okay, let's go to the Tyrrhenian Sea, and let's move our troops and get near to Greece. Okay, beautiful. So now we're about to disembark in this area. So let's do it here. So we're going to disembark Francois. And now this guy is able to move freely. So we can say that the actual support has arrived. Another thing that we're going to continue to do is supporting the Greeks economically. So we're going to talk with them here in Athens, and we're going to give them a little bit of money, just to show that we are willing to maintain their independence on the region. So they are going to be part of our influence. So we will demand military access, and we will give, in exchange for military access, single payment of 2,000. Let's do 3,000.
afraid I'm another proposition. It would
Yeah,
seem
of
you
course they
very
are
reasonable.
pleased with the situation.
Ready
So
and
now we can say that we are allowed to move our troops here. So again, still, we're trying to find someone that can betray the Turks. So let's figure out what we have here. Nothing of note. We just have these Mustafis and a muzzle loading. That's as far as our diplomat can see. Ah, and let's not forget that we have brought with us agents. The agents are here, so we're going to take them and send them here. So now we're able to see more of the situation here. Over here we can see that the Russian army is attacking Bucharest. Very interesting. And let's send this agent down here. And here we can see that there's a lot of areas. I would assume that these are forts, even though they have this symbol. This does not mean. At first I thought that this meant these were actual rebels, but no, this means that these are forts that are actually empty. So here we cannot see anything. There's nothing here. We have one troop of Mustafis here. And that's it. In here, at least we can see that they have Ertugrul regiment, which are cavalry. I think this is standard cavalry for them. 8 of attack and 4 of charge. They do not have, these are melee troops. They do not have carbines. There are another unit from them that have carbines, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's this one, the Bashi, but right now we cannot see the actual stats. I know that because of the image, of the picture, of the card. Okay, so we have reached our destination here. So basically I think it's going to be good to let's see, diplomatically the Greeks are enemies of the Turks. Okay, so one thing that we can do perhaps is to demand from them Thessaloniki. Okay, let's see if we can do that. Let's talk with this guy here. No, it's not there. Okay, I just misclick and it's impossible to stop him because apparently if I click the backspace it doesn't work. Okay, never mind. Okay, so we misclicked. That doesn't matter. Let's see if we can do it with this guy. I'm going to send him to... Oh, we can't. Okay, fair enough. So we're going to go here again. If there's something of note, I don't think. And again, we're just waiting for these guys to reach their destination. So yeah. Okay. So we're going to end the turn. Okay, a bride presented, so we're going to accept the bride. And we can see right now that there is a Union army besieging Cuba. Okay. So now, before ending this episode, we're going to talk with... This time we're going to talk with the Turks. There we go. And we're going to demand the region of Thessaloniki. We're going to demand this region or accept or we will attack. That is everything that we're going to say to them.
The Sultan has killed men for lesser insults.
Okay, so they rejected, and this means that we're going to have to declare war to them.
This bodes poorly
Okay,
for our future.
so that is a declaration of war, and basically what we're going to do is to start preparations for the invasion of the Turks, or most likely for regaining the territories that belong to the Greeks. So it's quite ironic that we are right now defending the sovereignty of one state over here, and in this side of the map we are about to invade. So if you're liking, give a like, subscribe. Consider subscribing. It's going to help a lot the advancement of the channel. This was Victus. See you in the next one.